So if you're totally stuck on choosing a baby's name, you might end up with a final two. I'm SJ, I'm a baby name consultant, so I run this YouTube channel for inspiration. There's also Pinterest, there's a podcast where we do full consultancies, but I wanted to do some quick fire ones to help as many of you as possible who are literally down to the last couple and you want a bit of a tiebreaker, because that is where we get most of the polls from. I'm going to have them all on screen as well, so you'll get tons of name ideas. If you are looking to name a baby, you can also now join the agency Baby Name Envy. This is hot off the press. It's just happened today that I've joined Peanut app as a Peanut Pro. It's brand new and it means you can join the agency as a sort of junior consultant and help me write names for people. That will be happening over there, and you can also contact me directly for name ideas as well. I'll link it below. Do go ahead and join the community over there, because there's tons happening straight away, which I know you're going to absolutely love. It's really, really exciting. So let's get on with my quick fire names. Do it yourself as well. Tell me if you agree with me. Okay, Elias or Gabriel? Oh, this is a hard one. I think personally I would go with Gabriel because I absolutely love the nickname Gabe and I prefer it more than Eli, but they're very close. I like both of them. Ottilie and Sloan. Again, I really, really love both of them. I think I would go with Sloan. It's just a crush name for me. I really like that it's sort of short and sweet and not too feminine, but I do love Ottilie. I just really love Sloan a bit more. Ottilie sometimes sounds a little bit like Utterly, so it sounds more of a word, whereas Sloan, I just love it. Roscoe or Forrest? Roscoe, Forrest or Wilder for a middle name for Oakley. Okay, so Oakley is the first name. Roscoe, which means dear Forrest, Forrest or Wilder. My middle name is Forrest. Oakley, Forrest, I think sounds too similar. Tree and tree. Oakley Wilder maybe sounds a bit surnamey, so I actually think Oakley Roscoe sound the best because it's got the O flowing through from both, and I really like that. Stevie or Drew for a girl. Oh, I love both of them. Those are so trendy. I reckon, I'm just doing this on what I would be drawn to personally, and I think Stevie. I really like it. I don't know if you've watched the programme The Letdown on Netflix, I think it was. It was an Australian motherhood thing. Her little girl was Stevie. I absolutely loved it, and I think it really elevates like an Evie, but it's really, really wearable. Imogen or Cordelia? I think I would go with Cordelia. I really love it. I love the Shakespeare link. Cordelia, I just think it is so pretty. I love LIA endings, but both are gorgeous. Saffron or Theodora? So I'm going to go Saffron because, again, I absolutely love it. I've always liked it. I love the colour Saffron. I'm wearing a bit of Saffron today. I like the fact that she can be Saffy or Ronnie as a nickname. So I think it really lends itself to a lot, and just think it's really, really trendy and cool as well. I know my sister would go Theodora because she's really gutted that she didn't use Theodora. Felicity or Clara? I'm going to say, this is hard, I'm going to just say Felicity. I know it's just gone into the top 100 a couple of years ago, and it's one of those virtue names. It means sort of happiness and good luck, I think, good fortune, and I really, really like it. Felix and Kit. I'm going to go with Kit, meaning baby fox, because I just think it is really trendy and a bit more unique than Felix, even though I do love Felix. Atlas versus August as a brother for Fletcher. Fletcher and Atlas or Fletcher and August. I'm kind of tempted to say that August sounds a little bit better. I don't know why. Fletcher meaning the bow and arrow, and Atlas, maybe they don't sound as sort of complete, whereas Fletcher and August seem warmer to me. If you can taste baby names, we've talked about that before, that I sort of have a feeling around names. I don't know why those two seem really to be blended together and sort of a gentler, warmer vibe. They sort of bring up to me sort of autumn colours. But what do you guys think? Robin or Lila for a girl? Those were two names that I had on my girl list. Really, really, really love Robin for a girl. Lila I've always loved as well. I think I would end up skewing towards Lila because I'm just a sucker for an L sound in a girl name. But Robin, very, very close. Rosie or Romy? That's a hard one, isn't it? I think I would go with Rosie. I don't think you can go wrong with Rosie. And I also think, funnily enough, it's a name that people really like when they're called Rosie, which sounds like a funny little tidbit, but don't you agree? I know most people I know called Rosie really like their name, and my daughter's got Rosie in her class. She's like, I love Rosie's name. So it just seems to be one of those really joyful names that people really, really like. Harry or George, that's an interesting one. I think I would go, oh, maybe towards George. It's a really nice name. I know so many Harrys, maybe that's why I just associate it with a lot more people personally. But I also think that George is really timeless and a bit more quirky, even though it's really, really popular. Cruz or Lowen? Okay, love both of these. Cruz being Spanish for cross. Lowen, I'm sure we talked about it the other day. I can't remember what it means. It's a naturey one. Or was it? No, Lowell, I'm thinking of, which was a young wolf. Lowen or Cruz. I'm going to go Cruz. I really love it. I think it's so trendy. Grace or Rose? That's a really hard one. We just talked about Rosie. Oh, you can't go wrong. Grace or Rose? I would say Rose. I think it's a bit rarer and a bit more second take. Like, oh, it's in so many middle spots. It's a shame, and people do universally love it, but it's not used enough in the first point, I think. Henry Maximilian or Oscar Lawrence? Oscar Lawrence is very 1950s to me. Laurence Olivier I'm thinking of, I guess, or Henry Maximilian. I'm gonna go Oscar Maximilian. Just as I was thinking about the name Oscar so much this morning, I woke up with it really highly in my head, maybe because of the Oscars, which just happened last night. Very dramatic Oscars, so maybe that's why, but I love Oscar, and it's a bit of one that got away for me, and I think that it sounds really cool with Maximilian, so I'm doing a mashup for you, Lisa. Edie or Matilda? I'm going to say Edie. I really love the name Edie, and I think it's really classic, and there's just a lot of Matildas. If you don't mind a really popular name, then go with Matilda, but Edie is definitely rarer. Mabel or Ari? Beautiful names, I think. Oh, I don't know, I can't decide again. I think I'm going to go with Mabel, but I do love Ari so much as well. Maybe you could blend them and go Ari Mabel. Those sound really beautiful together, with Ari being the first and Mabel the second. Could even be a hyphenated double barrel. Okay, I hope you're joining in as well. Let me know how many we've got the same matches on, and do let these mums know which really sticks out for you as your favourite as well. And if you are really into names, don't forget you can go to Peanut today and find the community over there, Baby Name Envy, the same as the podcast and Instagram. And it's just going to be a real forum where we can actually chat, and then there's going to be lives where you can join in and work with me. Super fun. So Ava and Claire. Funnily enough, I've seen Claire on a lot of name lists lately. It seems to be a classic that's coming back, a bit like an Emma or a Rose. Oh, I'm not sure, Ava or Claire. I love Ava, but I think I'm going to go with Claire because I think it is a rare gem that is on more lists and is really picking up a little bit. Jude or Rudy, I'm guessing for boys. I love Jude, I really do, and I think it's so cool. I think you'll never regret going with Jude. Ian or Seth? Now Ian is interesting, isn't it? Because it's such a, because this is the same mum who asked for Claire or Ava, but imagine if you have Ava and Seth or Ian and Claire, you're on very different chapters, they're different languages, so I reckon it depends. You could throw in an Ian. It's a very, very not trendy name at the moment, let's be honest, baby Ian. I reckon I would go with Seth because I do love the name Seth, but Ian might be a family thing, but Seth definitely is going to, if you have Claire and Seth, it sounds vibey. So just think about that. Oakes or Hawkins? Love adding the S at the end. That is really up my street. I think I would go Oakes. Love it to pieces. Vida or Sunniva? Beautiful names, very soulful names, very spiritual names, I should say. I actually love the name Vida. It's in a lot of Encanto, isn't it? Ma vida. And I really love it, but I do love both of them. Eleanor versus Emilia or Elena. This is interesting. So it depends how you say it, because I'm going to say, so it's Elena or Eleanor, spelled differently. So I really like Eleanor. I think it's the classic, but I do also love Elena. So those are my two favourites rather than Emilia, so that you get the E over the A. And out of the two, I would go Eleanor. I really like it. I love saying it with the O at the end. Jared or Rafe? Really interesting. Love both names. I'm going to go with Rafe. because I really like it and I kind of champion it. I'm going with short and sweet boy names, must be how I'm feeling today, but love Jared. Great choices. Georgia and Lucy, super interesting. What would you guys say? I'm going to go with Georgia because I really like it and I'm sort of into it, but really like Lucy as well. It's one of those, like a bit like a Claire coming back. Aurelia and Margaret. Now this is really interesting because these are two names I do think would have suited my daughter, who's Evelina, and I've thought about she should have been a little Margaret, would be absolutely adorable on her. And just yesterday I was thinking about Aurelia and how funny that I didn't really go with it. And I started to think about, I liked the nickname Aura, like feeling someone's aura, quite sweet. But I think first I would go with Margaret. I just think it's got so many nicknames with Pearl, Peggy, Maggie, Margot even, and then Margaret as a long form is just so beautiful. And I just think at the moment, I think it's about to come back. I put it on a list recently as one I think is going to come back. Okay, Saskia Bell or Marley Fox, really interesting. They're both really out there. They're kind of really vibrant names, because if you imagine put Saskia and Fox together, it takes it to a whole nother level. So you've done really good balance in there. And Marley and Bell, really interesting how you've mixed those. Yeah, I think Marley Fox works really well because you kind of got the gentle Marley with the more sort of funky Fox. Imogen and Ophelia, another Imogen on the list. I think I'm going to go with, I really do like the name Imogen, but I think I absolutely love the name Ophelia, but maybe I don't love the name Imogen as much as I thought I did. Frankie Bell or Frankie Blue, what are we thinking? I think Frankie Bell. I really do like Frankie and Belle because I think Belle is so feminine. For a girl, it sort of brings Frankie more towards the feminine side, and I'm more of that type of a namer, but I'm sure lots of you would love Frankie Blue. Otis or Otto, I'm going to say Otto. I really like it, and I think it's got really nice with the O and the way it looks written down. Gabriel again or Milo, interesting. I think I'm going to stick with Gabriel on that one. Arla or Ruby? Ooh, Arla or Ruby? I think Ruby. Do you think? Ruby? I think so. Roman or Ruben? I'm nearly at the end now. Both I do really like both of those. I'm gonna go Ruben, only because Roman is so trendy at the moment. It's almost too fast fashion potentially, so I'd be wary of it and go more with a Ruben because I love Rue as a nickname. Marnie or Briar? Interesting. So Briar Rose obviously being Sleeping Beauty. Marnie I'm going to go for, I think it is Fash Pack and more wearable and trendy than Briar. More universal potentially. Right, I've got hundreds more on here. I'm not going to get through them all, but if you like this format, do let me know and I will do part 2 coming up very soon. Don't forget to subscribe for that one. If you want to send me into this or that, you can do so as well over on the Instagram, baby name Envy. There's a new podcast, there's all sorts. I love you lots. I will see you next time. Bye guys.